Okay, so here we are in the workshop wonderland here of the Patrone, Rich Signalia. Now I can't tell you where this is, it's at an undisclosed location, because otherwise we'd have to kill you if we gave you the location. So it's top secret. You gotta keep the government, out of here. So this is my buddy Rich, one of my best friends. He is an amazing, skilled craftsman of transforming old pieces of equipment and getting them to the place where they're original, as good as original. And it involves a lot of knowledge and skill, from electrical to machining, to a lot of the processes that are involved in that. So we're going to look at some of the things later. He's going to show us some of the things he did. My question to you, Rich, is how did you get started in this type of thing? What is your background? What did you do for a living before you retired and got into all of this and so forth?
Well, I started out in the steel mill until they closed up in the late 70s. And then I ended up being a prison guard for another 20 years. And I never thought much about machinery or full machinery because until just the last 10 years or so, although I did that and took the vocational course in high school, and even then I didn't think too much of machinery, but I started thinking about it about 10 years ago and picked up a small lathe and started playing with it and trying to refresh myself on it and making small parts here and there, and it became fun. And then I finally found an old drill press that was just about a bunch of rusted buckets of bolts and stuff, and put it together. And anyway, one thing led to another, and then picked up an old sander and different things that were made in the 30s and 30s and 40s, and they fascinated me because I came to understand how much better things were made at this time, that they were built to last, and it became fun to put them together instead of junking them and throwing them out and buying new, to put something that was made at that time, made to last, to refresh it, and now it's good for another 100 years or so.
Right. So even little things, and by the way, the things that you make, you either give them away as a gift or you keep them, right?
Yeah.
You really don't make things to sell. You have a hard time parting with the things after you make them, but again, now this is an example of, what is this now?
This is an old Eagle oil can that probably sold when it was made for maybe $3, $4, something like that. And they were very popular. They don't make them no more. And they're very popular for oiling machines and whatever, like back in the day we would be playing with these sporting kids.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is the one that you made
And then
as a model,
as
the
a
model.
model, I made a few of these up, and out of brass and different mechanisms and stuff.
From scratch. Every part here is
every
from
part,
scratch.
many parts are in here, and it was that was a fun project. And of course, you could take it apart and everything, and there you go. And anyway.
Hope that's not full of oil.
No. But anyway, and then everything would come apart, and you could see the inner workings of that. Yeah, there you go.
Well, that's, everything's made from scratch. That is impressive.
Here was an interesting project. This was a craftsman belt disc sander, and I believe it was made in the early 40s, maybe even the 30s. And I found it anyway. I took it all apart, put it back together, everything was there. It runs beautifully after re-lubing everything, and put a few pulleys on it, put a motor to it, and it works great, and it'll probably last another 100 years. Here's a couple projects that I've done. This is two older Walker Turner drill presses that were probably made in the 40s or early 50s. And this one here has a slow speed attachment in the middle, as does the other one. A lot of them don't have that. And they were all rusted up junk, and I didn't pay very much for them, maybe $50 or $75. And they work beautifully, and I've even tested them out. I tested it to see if there's any run out on it, and they're perfect. They run great for all that time. Just re-lubed everything up, took out the old grease and everything, just checked everything out. They're great. They really, they work fine.
I can attest to that. They run smooth, man, really smooth.
They're smooth.
Like a charm.
And they're nice. And they'll make a gift to somebody someday when I'm gone. That project that I did, it's an old Walker Turner, I believe it's a 12-inch bandsaw. And this was looked like a pile of junk when I first got it, and I thought it would be an interesting thing to restore. And I'll show you what I did here. I put completely took all the rust off and de-rusted it, and put new tires on it here. It won't come off there, but I could see that the new tires are all on there, and that'll last a real long time. And anyway, it was one of those projects where you would just like the way it looked. It had a very unique look to it. It painted up real nice, runs very good, and I just even with the emblems on them, they shined up nice, and it looked trash. The guy wanted to just get rid of it, so it turned out real nice. Yeah, it's interesting when you think about the old machinery and everything, and God has made us to progress as human beings. We're supposed to, it says that the path of the righteous grows brighter and brighter. It's supposed to get better. But it seems like what we're talking about in the ways of old machinery, that the older was better. It lasted longer. It was accurate. Now, I know it can't be true for everything, but boy, it sure seems like that when we're talking about restoring old machinery and bringing it back to new. We were talking about how the older stuff lasted longer. When we were talking about machinery, the drill presses and the bandsaw, well, case in point, this is a 1947 refrigerator, and it still works.
Go.
This here is my Ambex coffee roaster. We like coffee in my family, and my friends like coffee. Yep. So I come down here and roast coffee maybe once a month. And I've had this roaster since 2008, and it produces great coffee.
How much did you buy it for, Rich?
This here coffee roaster cost around $6,000 plus at that particular time, 2008. They're over $10,000 now. National cash register, made of brass, and the last of these were made in 1917. Then they went over to just metal, and they really produced these with a lot of flash. And I got into these. I wanted to see if I could take one of these apart and put it back together. And lo and behold, after I did that, I end up having 5 or 6 cash registers now. And this here was my wife's father's cash register. And I completely redid that, refinished it and everything. And here it is. It's, goes back to the early part of the 20th century.
And they work, right?
And they work. Here we have a Robbins and Myers desk fan that was made in about 1936 to 1939 in that area. And I took this apart, cleaned it all up, re-greased it, re-lubed it, did some wiring on it, put a new cord and everything on it, and the thing purrs again just like, there it is.
Purrs like a kitten.
Purrs like it, moves a lot of air, and attracts a lot of attention to.
Rich, to wrap things up, we just celebrated your 80th birthday, right? 80th years young.
Yes.
And you're a man of that I appreciate the wisdom that you have. And what kind of advice would you give to young men today?
Well, I would say to young men today, we're always learning. We're taking in data, we're taking in information from one source or another. So, my advice to young people would be surround yourself with good mentors, with good friends, godly people that you would be able to learn, that you would have positive influence from, and you'd be able to influence them also. But stay away from things that would take you in the wrong direction. Just because the world's going in one direction, you don't have to go in that direction. You have the ability to say no or yes. So think through who you surround yourself with.